Hey everybody, I'm going to go over real quick how I made the Color Spark and Rhinestone Starbucks cup. First thing I want to show you is I did put a new modified cup template for this process in the Cup Template Mini Pack 2. You can go ahead and find these new files in there under the Color Spark Starbucks template. That's going to have this modified cut with the lid. That's going to have the inner circle, which is going to be for the lip on top of the lid. That's kind of important. It makes the Color Spark fit better on that lid. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And then I'm going to also cut the shorter cup wrap, which is going to be important as well. The bottom of the cup has a little bit of a lip again, and that's going to help make sure that the Color Spark fits over that because it's not a very forgiving material, so you are going to need to have that shorter cup wrap. But don't worry, once you put the Bling Anything material over that with the rhinestones, you won't be able to tell. It still looks really cool. So I went ahead and I pushed that through to my Cricut. Now that that Color Spark is cut out, I go back into my design space and I cut out my magic flock for the rhinestone templates. Some of you might already have this cut out. Perfect. You can totally reuse that again and you don't have to sit here for, I don't know, what does it take, about an hour for the Cricut to cut. So if that's something you've already done, we can go ahead and just move along. But I'm just going to show people how to cut this, and more importantly that you do need to cut it for this process. So of course, making sure that your fabric material is selected on your dial for your Cricut, or if you have a Cricut Maker, the same thing as well. That's going to be the cut setting that you need to cut this magic flock, and it should be a perfect cut. Now that I have all my materials cut out, of course, I always say this comes the fun part, the weeding. So I will weed my Color Spark, set that aside, and I have my rhinestone template cut out as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick that down to a surface, pour my Prism rhinestones over the template to brush them in. I go in broad, wide circles and just kind of brushing along as I go. Some of you might know these rhinestones as unicorn rhinestones, but they are called Prism. They're really cool. They have a whole rainbow effect and it's really neat. The color is just different no matter what angle you look at these rhinestones. I'll link that below so you can check them out on our website. Of course, you lay your transfer tape over those rhinestones, making sure that you have them all. I like to set it off to the side on the backing of that hot fix transfer tape. I went ahead and did the same thing for my lid. So I set my heat press to about 315, but while that's heating up, I'm going to put the Color Spark over the cup. I take off half of the middle of the Color Spark and leave the sides on so I can see if it's laid where I'd like it. Once I see that it is, I take off the extra 2 pieces and I kind of just rub it on with a tissue, or you can use a paper towel so I don't get any fingerprints or scratches on that Color Spark. Next is the lid. This is where the 2 cuts come into play. As you can see here, I have the 2.5-inch circle on the inside, which I also apply with a tissue, working from the inside out. I take the second cut, the second ring of the lid, I put that on there. Now I do make a little cut in the middle so that it fits on there perfectly. If I were to make this circle smaller, it still wouldn't fit the same, so the cut in the middle is kind of necessary. But again, once you put on that Bling Anything, you can't see it at all. So now that I have my Color Spark applied to my lid and my cup, I take my materials, my rhinestones on my hot fix transfer tape, to my heat press so I can press them onto the Bling Anything. I put my Bling Anything in between my Teflon sheet and I make like a little sandwich. I press it for about 15 seconds. I always make sure that the rhinestones are sticking to the Bling Anything before I take it off the heat press. Once I'm happy with it, what I'll do is I'll kind of flip it over and I'll just heat press it for about 5 seconds on the back end. This will kind of ensure that the glue really kind of sticks. And I'll do that for both the lid and the actual cup part. Once I have all my rhinestones pressed to my Bling anything, I will then take it back to my work area. I will cut off the excess Bling anything, making sure that you don't get too close to the sides, because what you'll see is some rings around the rhinestones at the end. You don't want to cut on those. That's the glue of the Bling anything and the rhinestones working together. You don't really want to break that seal. It's okay, once it goes onto the cup, it'll go clear and you won't be able to see them. So once I have the excess material cut off from my Bling anything, I will then apply it to the cup. You guys probably already know how to do this. It's the same process as if you had glitter under the rhinestones. It's just actual rhinestones on the Bling anything. You'll line it up with your circle in the middle. Make sure that you have your sides lined up in the back so it matches perfectly. And once you do, you'll go ahead and take off those extra pieces on the side if you have that on there, and you just stick it on and let it cure. Typically, I think for about 24 to 48 hours before you put it in the dishwasher or any kind of hand washing. So I know quite a few people wanted to see this tutorial. This is just something I thought of one day. I know some other people thought of it too. I love the way this cup turned out. It reminds me of kind of like a chameleon a little bit. And it's just so neat how you look at it. And no matter what way you look at it, it's a different color every time. So if you guys have any more ideas yourself or want to see some more tutorials like this, don't forget to comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good luck and have fun crafting.